Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Kid in Me and My Kids. And we've had a phenomenal 4 days. And today is the last day of the call. Please ask your questions. And what more magic can we create and what more fun can we have?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Shani. I am so excited. When the call stuff kind of comes to an end, those 5 days, I'm like, shit, it's over. This topic is over. And then I start looking forward for the next one. But
The
thank you
best is
so
we
much.
don't even come to know that 5 days have passed. Malum each other.
Yeah, but
How they
thank you
just
so much. Thank you so much to each one of you coming over, having your presence here, asking questions, and all the kids who have been part of this journey. I'm so, so, so grateful from deep within, and all the parents getting the kids here. Thank you so much. And I would love to have and see your lovely, beautiful faces. As I need to make more money, I will have more money when I see your faces. No, it's just fun, yeah. I just love playing with you guys. It's more fun to teach you guys talk, and that's the fun part of it. Shali, you'll have to keep muting everyone because I think everybody enters. Who is making noise? She also have to go mute. Yeah. So Rohini had this question yesterday, and she wanted me to talk about the kid in me. So when this topic came, I just would like few inputs from you guys, and then I'll start. So when you got this topic, what was the first thing that came to your head, Rohini?
Yeah, I want to share
Yeah.
something, Radha.
Yeah, sure.
When this topic came, actually, I have a habit of talking.
Nancy, can I see a
Yeah,
beautiful face?
I'm just
Yes,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have a habit of talking to my kids in a very kiddie voice, voice like that. And my son loves it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering, like, is it something is there, something is left in me, which is, which needs to be come out in
Is
this
it that?
call?
Is it that? What do you say? Is it that? That
No, but there is something more to that which I'm not getting.
okay? What
Not
made you
exactly.
think that there is more than that?
I think talking in that voice cannot be a contribution. What is it basically? Why I do that? And I generally, most of the time,
Do you
I
love
do that
it?
in a day.
Do you love it?
Yeah, I love
Are you
it.
aware of
Yeah.
them? And I mean,
Yeah.
was it that in your childhood you were speaking that and you were made wrong, or was it that you were not acknowledged about it?
Yes, I got
What was
this awareness just a seconds back. Yes, it's that.
it? Thank you for acknowledging it now.
Yeah.
Today we have done
Thank
that.
you.
So thank you. So what was it for you, Rohini, when it came? Anybody else wants to share? Then I'll come up with this. So that when kids in me and the kid and me, kid in me and kids and me. I still am confused.
Yeah, so kids and me, I mean, I knew it was related to something, to do with kids and parents and their relationships. But the kid in me was something, that pulled a chord in me because that's what I always want alive in me. And how to do that is
Is
something.
it already alive?
Um,
No.
At times, yes.
Mm-hmm.
At times, not really.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I thought. Maybe since we've been focusing on kids and relationships and with moms and parents,
Yeah.
which was also a big contribution because a lot of my questions got answered in that. Even though I'm not a parent, but in relation to my parents and me,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
But this was something a little bit which I did want to hear about, that how, what would a kid in me entail, and how can we keep that kid alive always. And I think you're a very good example of that. So coming to you, it would be really awesome.
Sure. Sure. Thank you for saying that. I was very welcome. Anybody else wants to say something about it, or should I go ahead? Yeah, Palak.
Yeah, so when you said the kid in me, it just made me think. I felt that the kid is like somewhere lost, and I
Wow.
am.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a kid
So can we
anymore.
retrieve that kid today?
Yeah,
Can we? It's just that simple. You have to ask that kid. And whatever definition of as a kid should or should not, and whatever you think a kid is, can we destroy and unkid that? And can we now move forward from there and just say that? I mean, you don't even have to think about it. It's like thinking is thinking, and if you just ask for it, it'll be there. Energetically ask. Each one of you can ask to show. I mean, ask to say, ask. I mean, whatever name you want to put God, you want to put universe, whatever. Ask every molecule around you to show what does a kid in me means to me. It'll be very different for each one of you. What it is for me, I would share. Generally, I wasn't sharing that because when I do, people start, taking that example, and that's how they're gonna look for it, and then it becomes a limitation. So that's the whole theme of my Be the Change group, that I do not generally like to answer what it is. Then I'm like, I like you explore with yourself what it is for you, because what it would be for you would not be for me. But yes, here on this platform, I would definitely share it. Please do not hold that as a limitation and just acknowledge that, oh, the teacher said something that it is like this, it will be like this. Maybe it's something different for you. And for me, what I see in kids, and what for me, kids and me means to me, that little being of me who's so naive, who's so beautiful, who has no judgment. And when you, as a kid, when you're growing up and you're seeing kids, and you also, when you observe kids, they don't have a judgment in their world. They just are. And I always had this question that why do I have to think before anything? Whatever I say or be, that is not me. And that is what happened yesterday also when Rohini just put that. And it was like, I just said it. I'm like, because for me, there is no judgment to it that, doing vaccine or telling the world that I'm getting vaccine done is wrong. Or
Radha, can I interrupt?
Yes,
See,
please.
you have told 3 times you have told about her vaccine. Can you just stop that? We have heard.
I want the people to know that she was getting a vaccine done. And everywhere that is making her uncomfortable. What fun can we have with that? So that is, I'm so happy and so grateful to her because of this vulnerability and that still going on with it with me, because what is wrong in it? There is nothing wrong and right about it. It just is. And that is the naiveness of a child or of you, who you truly be. If you had no reference points and you were not defined by anybody, and you just be, that is the kid in you. That is the beauty of you. The being is the being. And when the people say that when you've grown up, like what Nancy was asking, that you should not be talking like a kid. But why? I know there is a lot of stuff which comes around the entity stuff, that there are a lot of other entities which are talking through you. And you might be behaving like a little baby at times, and there are different beings who get into your body and act differently. But my whole point of view around that is that somewhere deep down you're holding those entities because you have been missing that part in your life. So it's not that it's by chance or by you did not choose to have those things, those activities in your life, or that language. Like I can talk to kids for hours, and I can be talking in their language, I can be talking in my language, and at times I talk in very different languages. So whatever is required, I be that. And when we actually truly operate from that naiveness, that childlike energy, it's like that's when everything melts away. And that is when you are shifting and changing molecules with your presence. And you've seen every child, like here, there's so many kids right now, even if I'm looking at them, they're like, my whole sense starts melting. So, and there was a video I had posted when we were doing the last money call of a little girl, and she had some South Indian song. But that smile, that joy in that girl was. I was asking the universe, show me my childlike energy. What is me? Show me what is childlike energy means to me. And that baby's video was sent, like, videos go viral, and I saw that girl. I saw her picture. It's one of the WhatsApp, and then I saw her video. And it so resonated with me, like laughing, giggling, baby. And I'm like, oh, that's me. And I'm like, okay, what else is me? So that's the kid in you. And it does operate all the time at a very different instances. Like for Nancy, it might be with kids. For you, Rohini, it might be at different points of, when you're just sitting and you're just being in your room and you want to do naughty. Because when we are kids, because I would not say that it was that, our parents did it out of, because they had to, because they just didn't know much better than this, to be the conscious parents. So we've not been allowed to be a kid when we were a kid also. And we always wanted to be adults when we were kids, like, unless after the age of 5, we start forming and, kind of biomimicking. And in that, some people lose it at 2, some people lose it at 3, some people lose it at 8. So these are different ages where we suddenly grow up. And then we realize, oh, that was nice. That was kind, where I was not even bothered what the hell is happening around me. But then we keep, our beings get stuck there. And then we keep revisiting at times there, rather than acknowledging, oh, that is also me, this is also me. So right now I am playing and behaving like an adult. And right now I'm behaving like a teenager. I'm behaving like a little baby. There's nothing wrong. I mean, you can be a childlike energy all through. Like, as you said, Rohini, I am that energy. And it is not about being kiddie or not, because seriousness is not something that is fun for me. Like, you can make bigger changes by your joy and your laughter. So that is my input. And I don't say that sadness is wrong. Sadness is another choice too. So you can choose to be sad, and there are and kids have those capacity to kind of duplicate from their parents or the surroundings. So my ask in my world is a happy, joyful world. And every definition of what happy and joyful is, we can pod and pog that. Still, from where your inner being is at ease with everything. And it's a choice that you're making at every 10 seconds. It's not about that, now I am like a kid, I will always stay like a kid. Or I'm an adult, I will always stay like an adult. No form, no structure is a kid's format. Because kids don't have a format, right? Kids just like, okay, it's like, you want to have to throw this out? How did you, kind of break it? Okay, they give up the thing and they're like, this is how I broke up. And they have no point of view. For them, it doesn't matter. It's a new toy, it's an old toy. I mean, just keep watching what kids do, and you will get that energy and you will recognize your kid in you. So play with it and keep asking this question after this call as well. And you can always come back to the recordings, that what does a kid in me means to me. Everybody will have different, and it's not, never judge it, because see, the beauty is that's how I look, that when you were born, I mean, I had a kid because I wanted to feel like what a mother feels. Like, I did facilitators because I wanted to see, okay, what does being a facilitator means? Yeah, so, and how do I facilitate myself? So that is how I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to experience the motherhood. So, and I remember when my mom used to say, okay, when you become old and your kids do this, then you will know. I said, Ma, I'll know then. Why are you telling me now? I'm a kid. Let me enjoy being a kid right now. I remember telling her that. And now I'm like, okay. And I'm podpocking it. And I never knew the podpocking thing, but in my head, I was like, whatever she's saying, I'm not even paying heed to that. When I will have my experience as a mother, I will see. And I do have it. And at times I do remember, okay, she used to say, see, my child is not like that. I rather not create that for me, what my mother created for her. I mean, it's a choice. It's not a wrongness of the rightness. But what she created, that was her choice, that how she wanted to be stressed around kids, or she wanted, to be taking care that they're disciplined. Mine is different. I'm more ease with that. That is what I desired, and I've created that way. So every being has a choice how to bring up a child, not to bring up a child. It's not about even bringing up the child. Every child is a gift. You're not born with kids to control them. You're there to, feel them, touch them, nurture them, and experience every bit of it. That how that no judgment places, how their smile can melt you, and what being a mother means to you. And at the same time, a child is born and using your bodies so that they could come to this reality. And you guys are not, you're like just receiving and gifting each other at every time. Like a parent is always gifting because they wanted to be a parent, and they want to, they, hit and trial of their own ways of how they will treat their child, how they will, and what they will come, and how will they look, and how will they walk. And it's their pride that if they get good marks or they excel in life, okay, then my kid did well. It's a representation. So every parent thinks that it's my representation. My child is my representation. And then in that kind of, sometimes kids lose it, sometimes they have it, and that is also the kid makes a choice because they want to experience certain stuff in this reality. So they get born into that family, and you have that contract with their parents that, okay, they will behave certain manner. They might, it might be divorce, it might be the parents might be fighting, or the parents might be very, very amazingly kind. So they also create and choose those families which they want to experience. For example, if some kid wants to experience alcoholism or any addiction, they will choose that kind of a family where you will say, oh, that happened because the family was so and so. So it's a choice the being makes. It is nobody's wrong or right. Cool. So that is how everybody, so there's nothing a blame game here. So there might be, the kids are born to, kind of enjoy, have fun. And when you have that honor, trust, vulnerability, gratitude for each other, that's when it grows. So like, I was just reading about the trust today. So it's also how we always say, and trust is built by parents. So if the parent is, you love your child, you have an amazing relationship with your child, but you should not shut your awareness. Not because it's my child that the child cannot do. You have to be very, very present with it. Trust what the child will do. Not because it's your child and it's your upbringing, the child won't do it. And then trust your knowing. When you will trust your knowing, your child would learn how to trust his knowing. But the moment you doubt your trust in you, you trust people more than you trust yourself. So you will trust your kids more than you trust you. And that blind faith of I think that comes with most of the relationships that you do with a kid or a friend or a husband or a family or a mother. So it's like always that my mother won't do this. And now these days you see a lot of shocking stuff that they say, how can a mother do that? Mother is an individual first. So kindly respect that and honor that. And that's her choice. What's your choice? So I'm talking both perspectives, a parent and a child. Yeah, so I think I moved from what's kids in me. Probably if that is, you still have a question around it, Rohini, I can talk about it. But I think more or less, I think I made it clear.
I think you addressed that part of the question. And,
yeah. So I was like, no questions coming, so I'll keep going. So I love talking, as you know.
Fine. Thank you.
Yeah. So any questions coming here, you can ask, and otherwise, I love to give my stuff. Harsha, you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I have a son, and he's an X-Man. So,
Are you one too?
Yeah.
Are you an ex-mother too? X-Men mother too?
Yeah. I acknowledge that.
Yes. Awesome. So what's the question there?
So sometimes it's so much of insecurities because he's non-verbal. He doesn't have speech. So when we go to park, he's just like, I feel so scared leaving him alone.
That reminds me of a joke. I was hearing some translation of Ekomkar or something by Osho. So once, and in that it's mentioned that, there was a I'm very bad at jokes and remembering stuff, but the whole crux was that the bulla asked the little guy that, there was a late child who could not speak. So he meets his sibling and he asks the sibling that, has your sister started talking? So that child replies to that mullah that, yeah, now the problem is, earlier she wouldn't speak. Now when she speaks, everybody tries to make her quiet. Like, there's no need. So it's like so funny. Every day, anytime anybody comes up with that whole thing that the kids are not speaking. So what are they aware of? Do you truly require to talk and speak? We are talking to just engage or involve ourselves in this reality. Truthfully,
Yeah.
is talking required? So when you give up a point of view and the fear and give that space to that child of letting him and talk whenever it is required to talk. And if you probably give that space, that child might talk herself or himself within a span of time. And are you going to win an allowance of that if he doesn't talk? Because can he not or she not energetically communicate, as you already had said that it's an X-Men child? How aware is that? And I mean, at times I don't like talking now anymore. Though I'm the most talkative person around, but there are times that I'm like quiet. I sense it more and more and more. And I was always, as a child, very quiet and always in my own world. But that whole need, I picked up from my mother, because living in a smaller village, and she had this whole anxiety of, because she always wanted to live in a bigger city and get married in a bigger city, but she had this whole thing that my kids, how will they become smart? How will they learn English? How will they be wherever I could not reach? How can I make my kids reach there? So she would have to talk. She had to be connecting to the people, and, and probably I picked up from her, and to be socially accepted, talk. But sometimes while talking, I get so tired. Do you really need to talk? And I was always, and then I used to get into wrongness because I was so quiet, and I was always picking everybody. But then, I did pick up, and I'm very grateful that I picked up from my mom, because that was required in this reality for that. All of that to connect to people. This is only to connect to people. So would you be an allowance of that child to connect at his own pace and space? And everything that doesn't allow you to receive the gift that child is, can we let that go? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, boys and beyonds. And generally, kids are born to those parents where they know those parents can guide them and can support them and can take care of them. Things only happen to you because you could handle them.
Okay.
So be in gratitude of that little baby and all, however old the child is, that thank you for being here, because that's what he can see in you. And then always be in that question, what space can I be for him if nothing is wrong and nothing is right? Because everybody of us is different. Every child is different. We are different. We have a great different requirements from our parents and spaces, and parents do their best to do it. If we start being in gratitude of them and gratitude of everything around and no judgment, that is totally being like a kid energy and total allowance for each other. And if you have that support, then nobody ever would say that anything to your child, because it's like, hey, I'm here. And with no point of view, it's a choice. And believe me, things would work. I mean, there's nothing that doesn't work without talking. I sense it so time. I mean, I really don't need to talk. But what if you can also energetically keep putting in his head that, in this reality, linear reality, you require to talk for your needs to be covered, and rest is your choice. You can, gift him and say to him, I always did that and I still do that. I would go and tell, this is my advice, and it's not that you have to follow it at all. Actually, from the no point of view. And if that works for you, well and good. If it doesn't, it's okay. I'm still there.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Yes, can I see your faces? All of you are showing me great faces. The kid in me is crying. Thank you. I think I need to manipulate like a kid. See, I have to be a kid right now for you guys to show me your faces. Thank you. It's so nice. See, the kids of you also would be only inspired to be in the world when the mothers and the siblings and everybody are going to be showing up their faces. You were born on this planet to show and be present, not to hide yourself. Howsoever you are, do not feel shame, do not feel regret about yourself. Whatever you look like, howsoever I look the best. Just acknowledge that. Yes. Any other questions coming up? Do you guys want me to talk anything in particular about any subject I can do? Because this is being the last day. I mean, I'm always here. I can pull a message when as for the call if you guys really want me to talk something. No? Okay. So what topic should we talk more? So I think this is coming that what if it's not about the control and how to control a child, perfect parent, perfect relationship of a daughter, mother, parent, child relationships. How about making children? There's a question from Enel. Making children part of your creations. Yes, that's what I was. Wow, right, that's what I picked up. So yes, so how to make your kids part of your creations. And I would say not only kids, it's about everything in your life which is around you. Maybe it's your house, whether it's your body, whether it's your family. I mean, we easily neglect and reject our families. And it is very, very important. I know it's only when you're so close that things starts affecting you. People on the roadside won't affect you. So first thing first, you need to acknowledge whatever uncomfortability you have with your families. It can be with kids, it can be with parents, so it involves everybody around you. What if you can start adding each one of them? And when we talk about the we world, in that we world, first is you. You always forget you. So if you remember you will remember everything, your kids, your family, even a kind of a thing of a pencil or a photograph or anything you've put in your house is a contribution to you. It's your creation. So any relationships coming in front of you is also your creation. And once you have created, what they are creating for themselves is their creation. So be an allowance of that. First thing first, but the allowance of you. And then at the same time, asking everything around you, including your kids, including your parents, including your, people who are helping you, each individual in the family, everything to, kind of, basically it's just energetic, but just ask, be grateful in the morning that you created them. Do not, howsoever rude and, what you define in this reality bad, you think that people are, still what if you can be thank you to them every morning, every evening, and just look at them that, oh, that's me too, that's my creation too. And now how I can use all of them and ask all of them to contribute in my creations further. That just adds, especially, and that also comes more often. For me, even children or anybody else comes later. First comes my body. So it's like when you acknowledge your body, your being as oneness, as consciousness, everything is consciousness. Asking your body, your being to contribute to everything, every creation of yours, that's when you are when you acknowledge that you're in complete and whole, that's when you start looking outside and gifting and receiving at the same time. So you can involve your kids, your parents, and then in allowance, like, Shivani, can I use your name for the message you messaged me yesterday? Shivani? So Can I use your example, babes? Okay, thank you. So she messaged me about her mom, and she was asking yesterday about her mom in the on the call, and then she messaged me privately that it's really terrible to see her mother not talking to anybody, and I'm sure she's aware of some certain things, and it really makes her upset and the family upset that she's too quiet and she's not talking. What is she going through? And I'm like, can you be that space for her right now? That is the time when you really require to be that space with no judgment, no point of view. But we as a being think that we can change it because we know better. We forget that we were born from those parents. And the more allowance, even that means if somebody is killing themselves, we be in that allowance and still we include them in our creations. That's when we create greater and greater in our lives. So how to include everybody in, just ask energetically. Okay, I mean, can you just gift me? Can you just receive from me? And always, always, always put your barriers down from receiving. And it's never that, adults are always right. Kids might be right too. And generally it is the case that it's opposite case that kids know much more. So what if we can give up this whole point of view that parents know more or adults know more? We know from our experiences because that was our experience to reach certain level. But we want that child should not fall and experience that. But the funny part is, unless that the child is not going to experience that, he is or she is not going to listen to you. Correct? So it's going to hit that child. And it's like, kind of, like I remember anything said to me was like, here, I can do it and I will do it. If you stop me to go into the room, I will go to the room because I need to see. I need to burn my hand or I need to fall or have to, then to, that's the experience of my body. As I also gave you the example that my mom would say, when you grow up and when your kids do this, then you will know. I was like, then I will know as a mother, but right now I'm not a mother. I'm your child. I want to experience as a child. So what if you've been allowance of that parent? And now the opposite way. Now Shivani is going with the other way around, that she feels her mother is really sad and she's depressed, and why she's so depressed. If she's enjoying being in depression, let her be. And I'm not saying not be contributing, but then she can always be, I asked her to ask, what can you contribute to her? What space can you be? What allowance can you be? If it's not an allowance of you, you can walk out from that place. What works for you? See what works for you. So Shivani, how did it go further? How's the day going? Are you willing to talk about it?
Yeah, it's much better.
So much better. It means you still have something there. So what is that?
Still trying to be in allowance with that.
Okay. So what does
That
being
space.
allowance? What is that is not letting you have the allowance?
I do get irritated at times, but then I try and pot and pocket and just.
So what is the irritation about? So what are you aware of that you're not willing to look at? And so that you're wearing glasses. Because what all you have been seeing from your childhood, you have been avoiding to see, and now it's making you uncomfortable. What is that you're seeing that you're not willing to see? What are you aware about her that you're not willing to see? That. See, you have a, guys, could you, so I could see her. She has a smile on her face, but then she like, can I say that? Can I be that? Is that true? But
Just trying to think.
you really need to think, you know it, right? You knew it the moment I asked you. But you do not want to say it because it's like, well, how can that be about my mother? This is how the dilemma starts. And this is how we start suffering. This is how we start holding back everything. That's a confusion. And that is no allowance for yourself. No allowance of your knowing and judging yourself. And that's when you do not have a true kid. Your kid is not operating within you. So as if she's not your mother, if she's in another individual, truth, what are you aware of? What?
I'm actually blank right now.
Okay. So everywhere you're not willing to, I mean, if you want, I can right now facilitate it and change it. Like maybe it's a contribution. Otherwise, we can talk later. Are you willing to be vulnerable? Are you willing to play with it?
Yes.
Okay, then we go. So are you willing to step beyond this blankness right now?
Yes.
So truth, what are you aware of? That.
Maybe I was always suppressed as a child,
Mm-hmm.
and right now I'm speaking as she is not speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm voicing out my opinions.
So it's her, so voicing about your opinion or her opinions?
My opinions.
Okay. So what is the actual true opinion that you have? And what is the knowing that you have? Forget the opinion. What is the knowing from when you think you were suppressed? Who is that, baby? Can you mute yourself? Yeah. So what were you aware? When you say you were suppressed, what was it?
Mm,
How suppressed are you still?
could not speak for myself. That's it.
Wow.
Anything.
Can you speak now about yourself?
Yeah, I am. Not completely, but yes, now I'm speaking.
So what is she gifting you that you're not receiving? How it feels when you do not speak you?
Mm,
Your
strangulate.
you feel strangulated, right? So irritation is not about her. Irritation is about you because she's gifting you that this is what you're doing to yourself. This is how you look, but your face might not look, but the deep down depression is looking like that, where you are killing yourself every day.
Yes.
Yes. See the big smile there. So what would it take for you to not suppress yourself and talk your heart out from now onwards?
More trust in my emotions and no
Mhm.
validation.
So emotions is again the judgments. But yes, be present with your emotions, and it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to be crying, and it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to be voicing yourself out. So what doesn't let you voice yourself out? How much are you manipulating everybody with that?
I just feel scared if I'm wrong. Matlab, too much into rightness and wrongness.
So are you always right? Are you still right after thinking so much, after controlling so much? So what's the value of it? Everything that brings up, can we let that go? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pop, Allah, share, So see guys, thank you Shivani, you being vulnerable, but this is how we start killing ourselves. And this is how everybody in your family and people who are hitting you the most, where the energy is becoming significant, is where you have it in you, where you're not willing to look at it. So deep down, she's into that depression herself. And how amazing is her mother? She's gifting her that, but she is making this about her rather than acknowledging what gift is she being to her, and where is she not willing to voice herself out. So this is how we go into round and round and round, and then we'll fill the body, and then by the time she grows up, she's like, I was all, and she would like try to laugh and be normal, and then deep down there'll be suppressed anger and the sadness which always follows you. And probably she has been doing it from her childhood, but now how a parent and a child relationship comes up is that how they get into intertwined into their own stories, and kind of we keep shifting and changing and working on these stories, and then we think, well, life is not happy, rather than like separating everything out from it, and then like, okay, if this was not true and real, then what would I choose? And this reality is not true and real anyways. You can, if you could create this whole scenario around, and that's when I love access tools, because see, it's your creation. It's very simple. It's like people would say, why would I create that? You will have to acknowledge it because you wanted to experience this and because you could. That is when you created it. Now when you look at it and you're really going through that crunch at that point of time, what if you can just be like, okay, if I could just there, acknowledge it. Okay, I created it. Now universe, show how can I change it? And if there is a demand in your world of changing it, things will keep up coming and you will have to choose. And there is not one choice that you will have whatever you're asking for. You might have to make millions and millions of choices to achieve and receive the life you're truly asking for. So there is no, you don't have to put head to it. You just have to keep questioning, okay, what is this? What is this? What is this? The moment you get it, and not with the what is this, like, okay, what is this? Now the answer is not coming. Let it go. And be an allowance. Okay, this is gifting you something. Everything in your life is gifting you, guys. If you remember this after this call, I'll be highly, highly grateful to you. And I would put it in all your heads to be grateful all the time. And be thank you to everything. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your parents, and then co-creating from there. From the space of total gratitude. And that is the space of, and gratitude and judgment do not go hand in hand. So you say, sometimes I'm in gratitude. It's not sometimes you're in gratitude, sometimes you're a little out of the judgment and you think, okay, now I try to love somebody. What if you acknowledge that I cannot love somebody who's in front of me? I hate this person in my family. I just hate the person. It's okay to say that. And then keep repeating it. Okay, I hate it. This is my 10-second choice. I still hate this person. Okay. So until when will that work? And then you can keep asking, okay, space. And see, is it even mine? Because the moment you start perceiving space, suddenly you see something is outside you. Are you dying without it? Are you? And I was listening to a very beautiful thing yesterday. It was like, when you be that space and you ask, does it even belong to you? And anything which is upsetting you and which is somebody said something to you and that person has already gone away, and that happens so much in the family, you keep holding and the other person is just enjoying. That is the right kind of a signal for you that how weak are you. And then acknowledge, oh, I am into all the judgments all the time because I'm picking, is it even mine? And be an allowance of you being weak at that point of time. Be an allowance that, okay, I'm judging the other person or the other person is judging me. And when you start looking at and observing it, you will finally eventually come to a point that, okay, it's done. Yeah. Now what else is possible here? And remember, you can change it. How? Do not get into how. Just keep asking, what can I do here to change it? What can I do here to change it? The more you're asking, the more it'll show up. And how it will show up, maybe somebody in front of you doing something, or a person like me coming and facilitating something. You will get an idea, oh, that sounds very light. That is how the awarenesses come. You really do not have to put head. And always separate those thoughts going in your head. And just for 2 minutes in the day, do this little exercise. It's around, whether it's around your kids, whether it's around your parents, whether it's around your family. Put those thoughts and tell those thoughts. Somebody is unmuted, guys. Can you please mute yourself? So you just ask those things to sit aside. Like, okay, you are here. Okay, you sit here. Ask everything which is going, the chatter in your head. Just empty your mind for 2 minutes in the day. It's just 2 minutes I'm asking. If you really want to change it, ask those thoughts. For 2 minutes, if I do not give that energy and just slide them here, okay, you sit aside. And once you're free and you can see yourself, just expand yourself. And then make the choices out of those things. Which all things do you want to really pick up? And see, right now also you can do right now, put everything which is going on your head aside. Tell them to wait. Like, there's a long queue. Ask everything to wait. And then like, okay, now which one would you like to have? Would you even like to have either one of them? The beauty of bringing young children, Meenal has to say, the beauty of the bringing young children into access is the parents as an after effect become more conscious. Teach them the tools and they will be the timely reminder to you to use them. Yes, totally. And I think everyone, and kids have no point of view, so they remember tools very, very fast. Shivani could probably use those tools on her mom and see what shows up if it feels light. Yeah. Shivani has been using the tools and then she gets up at times and then she's like, okay, it has to change. It's not about actually it's not never how I look at it, it's never about the other person. The other person is actually gifting. So that's when my tool to this is always like, what gift is it that I'm not acknowledging? What allowance can I be? Show me. What space can I be? Because I get, because I have been through those situations in my family very closely, and where you really, really, really require that allowance. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, oh, in my world at times, like, this is not changing. And I'm like, change to, I'll go somewhere, I'll do something. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm like so much of peace with it. And I was okay to be that angry, and I okay to be that upset in my world where I'm like, maybe everything will crash. And then the tool I always used was, okay, this is it. If this is breaking point, I'm seeing it, but this reality is not true and real. So this is everybody showing, this is this linear reality. What space can I, what reality am I aware of? The reality I'm aware of, I'm asking it to show me what else is possible here. What space can I be? What allowance can I be? And believe me, I mean, for me, it's changed. I'm not much at ease. I'm there, and at times I do get into it, and I'm like, it's okay. And then I'm like, my whole head starts, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What else is possible? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, because at those times when you're angry, because we are so entrained and autopilot on that anger zone that we do not want to even use tools. So I was in allowance of me not using tools for 2 to 3 days, being that crap. And then I was like, nobody can answer this. Even I go to the best of the facilitators, they can't answer me this. I know my reality. So I'm like, okay, what is finally? And I used to tell myself, you just have to ask one question and that might change. And then I'm like, after 4 days, okay, what is this? Universe, show me, what is this? And so then, thank you, thank you, thank you. What else is possible? I keep doing this like a mantra, and something shifts. It's that simple. I have figured out that way for me. I can share and wonder what else is possible with you guys. So if that works, and it's so simple, just say thank you, thank you. Shut your eyes to that situation, wherever, howsoever bugged you are, whatever you irritated, and you say, how the hell can I say thank you to the other person? But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is like miracle. But yes, please supply whatever is coming. Shivani will surely do. Thank you. Since more than a week, I was asking for what gift is she being to me that I cannot see. And she facilitated me for that. That's awesome. Thank you. See, what a potent creator she is. Shivani.
Hi, Aradhana. This is Namrata.
Yes. And I see your lovely face, Namrata. सब भाग जाते हैं 2 मिनट.
Yeah, I was a little engaged.
Come on, come on.
वो कुछ ना कुछ चल रहा होता है.
Tell me.
Okay, so I would really acknowledge that I was going through a difficult time in handling a situation or a thought or a feeling, basically, where I went through a tough phase into a relationship. And even though the situation is over, but the people are around, and I was really having a irritated time with them, and I didn't really like the company of the people. So because they are family, so I can't really run away, and of course I can't say no.
That's a very, very interesting point of view, that you cannot run away from the family. You can, but that's also a
yes, I can, but I didn't choose that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. So I energetically asked you very loudly for some facilitation. Yes, of course. I chose you energetically, and I thought in that in my mind to ask you for the solution, and of course the facilitation, so how to get over the thing. And you just explained it very nicely. And in fact, I was trying, and not trying, rather I was very much doing that. I can't touch the past, so how can past touch me in the present?
Yes.
So wherein I chose to set aside all the thoughts, and I always kept asking what else is possible, what else is possible. I am still in the process of overcoming it. I would not say that I am completely over it, because at times it does irritate me.
Yeah.
So I, as you said, say thank you, thank you, thank you in your head. So I sometimes get so irritated in my head that how can I really be thankful for those people who really, bugged me up and who
Yeah.
just pinned me
Yeah.
and who gave me such, hurtful memories in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So that was really a situation where I was going through, and I asked you energetically. So I am really thankful to you.
Thank you. Thank you for
And
acknowledging. So it will work.
let's see what else can
So,
I create.
so what it is coming is to me is so what is one single point where you really feeling bugged and irritated right now with that person or that relationship right now?
I mean, very, very hurtful, very, very hurtful space, and where people did not allow me to be, and not in fact, anybody can allow me to be me. Rather, is in fact, sometimes I get angry on myself that how did I allow others to, play over me and
Because you could, that's it.
this thing.
Can you be an allowance of you? You could.
So yeah,
That-
I am.
So you're not an allowance of you, of your choices itself. So how can others be an allowance of what you're choosing? When you're not an allowance of you, how can others be an allowance of you? Okay, I could. I did make those choices. They were not wrong and right. And what gifts were those choices? Now what can I choose in this 10 seconds? And thank you. Thank you words.
And whenever they come across and whenever they come around, I really feel, so, and sometimes I behave very silly and I enjoy it. I
So can I
become the
ask,
bitch.
when did it started happening? Was it after your kid?
Sorry,
Is it after your kid?
I didn't get you.
Is it after? When did this all
No,
started?
before.
Was it after? Before? Were you pregnant with your kid? Then or before?
No. Or before. I mean, after I got married, the initial years with my in-laws.
Okay. Cool. And how has the equation changed after your child has been born to you?
It's like now I'm choosing greater for myself. And it's like now I do not allow anybody, to step over the tigress tail.
So can you be grateful to them that they actually made you choose greater? Otherwise, you would have been limping as a regular housewife or where you love.
I do acknowledge that.
Yeah. So once you actually be in allowance and actually be in gratitude of it, that wow, they brought me so much up, and that does not make them right and wrong. You chose and you created them for you to step up. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that brings
So
us.
how
And today, when you stand,
sorry.
So I was just saying that today, if
I
you
mean,
choose that for you and you acknowledge that, would your kids do the same? So a lot of mothers and a lot of things in India, especially, and anybody who will be hearing this call, maybe I have no idea about their countries, but generally, it's India is like that. We will keep suffering and having all the bullshit. I'm not saying going fight, but not choosing for us. But that choice is also ours. Like as Namrata started doing that and was saying that, it is family, but you always have a choice with family. You are choosing to be that because it's serving you. He is choosing to be around them because of her some advantage there. So first, but then you keep holding it and crying about it. So that energy is imbibed by your kids. And then they live, and once you do not step up and choose for you there, your kid would never be able to choose for themselves. This is how amazing this whole story goes. And if you choose for you there, choosing for you does not mean rejecting others.
I would really.
Is anybody saying something?
Yeah, please complete, then I would.
Yeah. So it's like When you choose, when you will be choosing, and now as you stepping up, and you will be grateful and not making them wrong and right ever, and then at the same time seeing them as what they are. I'm not saying see them suddenly lovey-dovey and all. Okay, they are this, that is the energy they are. And what if I can put my barriers down to that energy, receive them, but you do not have to follow it. And when you have that back of yours, your child would have it for him or her. But most of the things what happens is that biomimicking keeps going on. The parent would not choose, and they'll say, "Oh my, your grandparents are saying this is happening." There is a whole story, and we think they're little kids. They're sitting there and doing, but they are taking every energy around you. They know more than you think you are hiding from them. So and they're picking every, and then they are also observing you. What are you choosing? I remember telling my mom, "Hey, mom, I mean, you always seem so unhappy. So why don't you leave the house? I mean, why don't we go anywhere? I mean, why do you have to stay?" And she said, "No, no, 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 we can't do it. We can't do it because I cannot earn. I cannot earn. I do not have. And where will I go?" That patheticness always stayed. But then when I grew up and when I was in Access, that's when I started looking at it. How much was that her manipulation of self-victimization and controlling everything? And then I'm like, okay, that worked for her. And not a wrong choice or a good choice. And that's when I released it, that my whole entire reality started shifting. Because I had somewhere made that right and correct, that no, something I'm sure my mama must have chosen to stay in that relationship and to work, because she's elder to me. So whatever she was following, I have to follow. Till the time I got these tools and I started pot-pocking everything and, kind of fading and taking out all those energies wherever I picked, and then looking at it, okay, if it is my reality, what would I like to choose? And then not making her right and wrong. I'm so grateful that she showed me a different way of looking at life. And that's what made me like, oh, wow. So sometimes parents are fighting among themselves. And, kids are picking up as that, oh, this is how, my parents are always fighting. To let you know, guys, it's very, very rare that the parents are not fighting. You are not the only one who has gone through all that shit. They're all the kids or who have grown as adults also have gone through that shit. So you're not something different, so don't cry about it. Now make a choice. And if your parents were fighting or they had a certain kind of relationship that made you choose this kind of getting married, not getting married, having kids, not having kids, it's fine because you chose that. And that choice of fighting and manipulating each other was working for them. What is working for you? And have no point of view. That is not wrong. That is the manipulation and the gain they both had. What would you like to have? So be clear with that and be operating from the space of no judgment, not making any parent or any kid wrong and right. Then what would you choose? And then be in gratitude at the same time. Only when you will acknowledge it, put your barriers down, can you be in gratitude. Here people get very confused what is gratitude, because gratitude is not that you have to go start telling them somebody slapping you and you say, no, I will take the slap. That is being a doormat. Is this okay? You are Sammy, that does not work. And if I go to that person every morning, that person is going to slap me back. And okay, be allowed that person is. So how can I use it to my advantage? If I really require that person in my life, how can that person be a gift to me? And go meet accordingly and do not stay that long and whatever, manipulation you have to do. Play with it. But remember, you want your child, you are here in the dual character, because here you want your child to learn something else, and you are doing something else with your family and your parents that is actually affecting the child. So that is also the kid in you, because kids in them have no barriers. But the moment they sit the parent with so many barriers, they start picking that, and then that's when we start losing the kid in us and making what is right, what is wrong. Hope that clears you guys. That was all I had to say. And everything that brought up, can we let that go, guys? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot talk on Lisha Boys and Beyonds. Yes. Namrata.
Thank you, Aradhana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Namrata, is that clear? Do you want more clarity on it?
Yeah, this is great. And this gives me the clarity that I've been through in my childhood. So whatever circumstances were there, I am in gratitude to everybody, and of course my parents who gave me such situations that I chose this
Yeah.
for me now.
Yeah.
And I'm over it now. It's been, the past is over, and the influence are over. So I am fresh.
Fresh, and now you don't have to deal the way they dealt it. You can deal it different. You can. What if you
Yeah,
had
of
no
course.
idea, no reference point of how to deal with it? Then what would you choose? And what is in 10 seconds? Be the kid.
Yeah.
Be the kid you truly be.
Oh yes, of course.
Thank you.
And I would really acknowledge that my parents contributed a lot in my upbringing, and I'm very thankful to them.
I think each parent does.
And
Because
they had no point of view about.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think each parent does. Whether the
Yeah.
parent is.
I mean, they had no point.
Yeah. So also, like Lena yesterday was talking about how her parents were beating her and whatnot, but they were also contributing somewhere. So if she puts her barriers down and if she starts receiving them as like, okay, cool, that was then, and I did it. Now what is it? What gift is in that? And okay, that was then.
In fact,
yeah, go ahead, Namrata.
as you said, being in gratitude does not mean to be the doormat.
Yeah.
And now I ask the question that what would it take for me to choose things easily and happily and with fun?
Yeah.
So why do I have to choose the beating and of course
Yeah.
the tough things, and of course the learning can go easily.
Correct. Everything is ease. I mean, for me, everything is ease. I'm like, okay, can we change this? Can we change this?
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
facilitating.
You
Aradhana.
asked for it,
Thank you.
babes. You're smart. See? She downloaded it in my head. Thank you. So much.
Actually,
See, I gave the tool yesterday
Thanks.
and today I was being used for that. How smart are you guys? Thank you.
Yay. And in fact, today's tool is, I mean, whatever you are, the size, the shape, and that is really all the.
I'm all like, drop. I'm not me. As an infinite being, you can choose anything and everything at any given time.
Aradhana, we are towards the end of today's call. It's 6:30. And I would just like to thank everybody who's been on this call with us for 5 days. It's been super, super fun. And it was just so great. We were speaking, all the questions that everybody came up with. It's been so much of awareness and so many shifts for us simultaneously as everyone. And it was so lovely to see you all on this call. And Aradhana will be doing a 2-day conscious parent, conscious kids class somewhere
in
end
the
of
world.
July and August. End of July and August. And one could be before that also in Delhi. And that's with a manual and every, it's a certified class. And this month on the 4th, next week, we have a facelift class with Aradhana. And we've got Breaking Our Limitations. That's the foundation class from the 6th to the 9th. So if you know anybody for whom this would be contributive, please do let them know. And if we had posted, the next month's topic is the magical witch and bitch I truly be. And that would be also somewhere around from the 24th to the 29th. So it was lovely, lovely having all of you with us on board. And we look forward to many more shifts and many more magical calls with all of you.
And keep listening to these calls.
So much.
You can re-listen and it will be on the YouTube. And please keep re-listening. As much you hear, more you'll get, because every time you hear, it'll be different.
Aradhana, I would like to thank you for the question which you had given, that what's the value of holding the childhood?
Yes.
So it has changed a lot in me.
Thank you, Preeti, for acknowledging.
So,
See, guys, the more you acknowledge within yourself the changes, the shifts, the more you will have them, more greater would you create, and you would never be wrong.
so that was the thing where I was not choosing greater of me. So tomorrow I'm having my first bar class.
Yay, awesome.
So
How
I have
does it get
chosen to do
better?
it. But whenever I used to get, I used to create some things like which the people don't choose me at the last moment. So that was something which has brought up.
When you will choose you, everybody will choose you, sweetheart.
Yes. So thank
Choose
you for
you,
that
guys.
question and thank you for
Welcome to receiving.
all that.
So, guys, we have this Be the Change. I don't know if all of you are on the Be the Change or not, but there is a group we call Be the Change. We have two groups. Because one group got filled on WhatsApp and it's on the Facebook as well. So I post a question every morning, and no ads allowed on that group. Even my ads are not allowed only under the Be the Change they're allowed. And we play, and I let everybody. I mean, I'm happy to facilitate on that group, and I do at times. And at times I'm like, what do you know? So guys, play with it. If you really want to come and change and see some shifts, you're most welcome to come and join. Anybody needs, you can connect with Shalini or me, and Shalini would put the Be the Change links on this group. And we will stay open, keep this group open for another week. Then we'll shut it down and we'll open near
Till tomorrow, Aradhana.
till
Till
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Then we put the admin setting till the next, and we open the group 2 days before the next call.
Okay, that's how Shalini decides.
And we keep everybody informed. We do post if there is a shift in time or dates. We will post on that group. So if you would like to stay on with the group, that's a choice. Or if you would like to join in before the call, that's a choice. We leave with you.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Hope
So,
your
thank
questions were met.
Thank you so much, Aradhana.
Thank you.
What a contribution.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
Contribution
Thank
to all
you.
being here.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Have fun.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.